Hello, my seekers of spooky, my hunters of haunts, my listeners of lore. I have a special story for you tonight, so dim your torches and lend me your ears, for this is the story of the Estate of Unrest. The estate lurks at the edge of Dagnor's cauldron, a home to numerous abominations and a grave for many careless adventurers. Everyone knows the history of the estate. A noble family living at the mansion were randomly murdered by a crazed dwarf one bloody night, and the place has been haunted ever since. Except, why would a noble family build such a beautiful home on the edge of the stinking, boiling pit that is the cauldron? And how could a single dwarf kill an entire family in one night? This abbreviation leaves out all the gory details that make the estate the decayed masterpiece of terror it's become. To truly tell this story, we have to go back, before the estate itself was even built. Dagnor's cauldron, so named after King Dagnor Butcherblock IV, who plunged to his death in the waters below, is said to be marked by the displeasure of the gods. Brel Ceralis' anger at his own dwarves has manifested as streams of lava that run just under the earth of the cauldron, leaving it with a humid and clingy air that smells of seawater, sulfur, and decay. Only the most hardy plants and animals can live surrounded by the jagged rocks and near boiling waters. It was the same landslide that so angered Brel Ceralis that also cut off the pool from the sea, isolating it from Prexis forever, and creating a new strip of land in the cauldron. This new strip of churned rock and mud was surprisingly fertile, and in time the rich soil gave way to such miracles as fruit-bearing trees. Upon seeing this one piece of land in the cauldron that didn't suck, the local orcs and gnolls immediately began to fight over it. It was around this time that a man named Aranosh came from beyond the waters, a priest of the goddess Quellius, seeking to spread the teachings of peace and cooperation. Upon seeing the bloody conflict engulfing the cauldron, he declared that bringing tranquility to this humid, forsaken land would be his life's mission. And, in a move that would have gotten anyone else horribly murdered, decided to settle on the very land the orcs and gnolls were fighting over. At first, this strange priest was no more than a humorous novelty. A lone man preaching peace was hardly a threat to either tribe, and while he was viciously mocked, he was largely ignored in favor of the unceasing battles between the tribes. Yet, as Aranosh continued to develop the land, and the walls of his compound steadily raised, attention turned to him once again. Aranosh was threatened, yet he did not falter, for the unwavering faith in his goddess and his cause pleased Quellius enough that she smiled down upon him and blessed him with plot armor, allowing him to continue his work. Once the temple was finished, the very creatures that had insulted and threatened Aranosh began knocking on his door. At first, it was only a few curious souls visiting under the cover of night, but soon, orcs, gnolls, and others were coming to the temple in greater numbers. The priest accepted everyone with open arms, tutoring them in the ways of cooperation and the teachings of Quellius. While he was never able to completely cease the battles of the cauldron, the area around his temple remained peaceful, and he even managed to convince some of the warring denizens that not everything could be solved with hatred and fear. Lies and slander, of course, but his ability to persuade was truly impressive. As remarkable as Aranosh may have been, he was still mortal, and eventually died of old age. After his death, the temple was abandoned, yet it was left untouched out of respect for his legacy. As the years wore on, his temple finally collapsed, and the rotting wood nurtured the surrounding plant life. A sweet story, isn't it? But that's not why you're listening. While Aranosh died peacefully in his bed, his predecessor, Frederick Wilhaven, and his family wouldn't be so fortunate.